Alright, hello and welcome back to my channel. Hopefully you've been well. I am doing fantastic. And, I'm back in Genshin Impact. And if you couldn't already tell by the title of this video, it would probably go something around, or it would be relating to the Archon quest. But the key thing there is the 3.1. And well, as you can see, I am very late to the party. So there's that. There's a lot of Archon quests to go through. And the 3.4 live stream, the Genshin live stream, was just the other day or a couple days ago. And so I need to power through, I need to power through the Archon quest because there's a lot of leaks going around of Fontaine characters, and you know what? I need to at least get the Archon quest ball rolling, while there's updates coming out pretty soon as well. So there's probably about a week, just a bit over a week. So we're a week out from the update. And that's good news, but that's also a what do you call it? A motivator of like, all right, I need to get these Archon quest things done. And so I've already started the 3.1 Archon quest, but it's very early stages. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably already played through this. You're probably you know, a veteran player, but yeah, I've stayed borderline nearly entirely away from the story spoilers. So I guess in that regard, a lot of my reaction would be pretty genuine, and it would be kind of the first time I would have seen anything, more or less. I mean, there's obviously going to be some things floating around online that I perhaps would have seen, but yeah. All right, let's get into it because there is definitely a lot to go through. I'm just gonna have a look at my audio settings, just in case, Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. 3232. All right.
Is this another one of Sataria's favorite stalls? Yep. It belongs to a king. His father helped Sataria a lot when she first moved to Samari City, so she still comes by whenever she has time. When I start talking with him, listen carefully to the details of our conversation.
Ah, dear customers, would you like to look at some pottery?
We caught wind of your great craftsmanship, so we specifically came to take a look.
Oh, I recognize you. Aren't you Miss Catherine from the Adventurers Guild? Sounds like I'm in for some big business.
Speaking of, where did you learn this trade?
I suppose you could say it all started with my dad. He's a mason by trade, but I picked up an interest in clay while apprenticing for him. After that, I began making pottery by myself in secret, and I simply changed trades when my works turned out well. Although it's a pity that I'm no longer making much use of the knowledge provided to me by the Akasha.
That's nice. You're making a living doing something you love.
So is your father still working as a mason?
Oh no, not anymore. A few years back, he fell from a roof and broke his leg. Since he had already saved enough Mora over all these years, he's just enjoying the retired life in Port Ormos nowadays.
I see. We wish him peace and happiness in his retirement. I'll have someone in charge of logistics at the guild come by another day for some goods. We'll leave you to it. Take care now.
No problem. Rest easy, all our goods are sure to meet your every need.
Okay. Well, oops. So yeah, that's I guess the last thing I remember, and I mean, yeah, you're seeing it now. Um, it was just to, yeah, like it says on the screen, gather information. And yeah, we are going along with Catherine slash Nahida. I believe we're gathering information regarding some high official of the academia, but you know, it's been months. I initiated the Archon quest and then didn't follow through months ago. So, I mean, obviously, 3.1 was ages ago. I initiated this in 3.2, early 3.2. But yeah.
You think I've got a sharp tongue? I just tell it like it is. If someone can't handle it, maybe that's their problem.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go through the Archon quest, but I did want to give a bit of a what do you call it? I did want to make a statement. But yeah, so every time there's going to be dialogue, I am just going to mute my microphone and let the dialogue play through. So that yeah, whoever's watching, you can just stay completely focused on whatever's happening with the quest, and I'll probably give my thoughts on it afterwards, after the dialogue, because I'll more often than not hopefully be paying attention to the story unless I'm distracted. But yeah, all right, enough of that. Let's carry on.
This should be our final stop. Sataria's always thinking of this restaurant when she's working at the academia, so she always comes by whenever she's out in the city.
Nahida, you've really thought of everything.
It's my duty to protect Samari's citizens, after all.
Hi there. I feel like I've seen you down by the docks before.
Huh? Sorry, I don't quite remember.
If I recall, you were having a discussion with someone about shipbuilding at the time.
Ah, that's right. I've always been really interested in feats of marine engineering. After all, I grew up in Liyue Harbor and spent my entire childhood staring at the ships going in and out of the port. I came to Sumeru to study, but failed to make it into the academia due to my lack of talent. But I'm still discussing all kinds of problems with different scholars, and I'm continuing to study and perform research from the restaurant's basement. I'm sure I'll get into the academia after their next round of exams.
What an admirable spirit for learning. Amazing.
Sure, but you'll find hardworking people wherever you go.
So this restaurant has a basement as well? Huh. First I've heard of it.
That's right. It's not usually open to patrons. Most of the time, employees use it for breaks or to hold private events.
I see. Guess that makes sense. Well, good luck with your studies, Miss Chishan.
Thank you so much. As long as I can make it into the academia as an official student, I'll be happy.
Okay, so pretty interesting. There must be some sort of business going down. All right.
So, was that everybody?
Mm-hmm. 3 familiar faces should be enough for Sataria.
What's the point of all the information we've collected? Nahida, you still haven't told us how you're planning to make Sataria face her problems.
Sataria is already used to avoiding her problems, so we must find a way to break through her usual sensibilities. I remember you mentioned that the Eremites in Port Ormuz are all making a fuss about the upcoming resurrection of King Deshret. Although it's all just a boatload of nonsense, the faith of her homeland may turn out to be Sataria's soft spot.
Oh, Paimon gets it now! You want to take advantage of the guilt Sataria feels about her homeland. Although she knows she should return home to help the people of the desert, all she's done is conspire with the sages.
Deshret is long gone, and Setaria is also too smart to fall for any simple tricks. If we simply engaged her under the guise of King Deshret's believers, she would definitely be wary of us, and we may not get anywhere. But if we were to borrow some of her close acquaintances to talk with her, her reaction would probably be very different.
So, you mean you're going to possess those people we just talked to?
Yep. Possess them through the Akasha. Imply they've already converted to the faith of King Deshret, and then convey our made-up will of King Deshret. As long as everything goes smoothly, we'll get through to Setaria for sure. She'll never guess that we had anything to do with it.
Ah, so that's how you're going to use all the info we collected on these people. It's so that you won't slip up and break form. Possessing them will only work if you can manage to pass off as them.
Exactly. So, best of luck with impersonating them.
Huh? Best of luck? But we don't know how to possess anyone.
Alright, hold on a second. This is a bit much. This is I didn't realize what I was getting myself into here. I completely thought that it was gonna be Nahida doing all the possessing, but I guess not. Guess not.
That's no problem at all. I'll just share all their senses with you once I've possessed them. As long as you're also wearing an Akasha terminal, the effect will basically be as if you've possessed them yourself.
Huh. That is pretty convenient. But why does he have to do this? Can't you do it yourself?
Although I've been observing humans for a while, I've never been good at imitating them.
You're not wrong. It's always been painfully obvious whenever you try to pass as Catherine.
If it was at all possible, I would have preferred to leave these people alone. But seeing how things are now, I probably should just accept it and push on.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up over it. We're only doing this to help everyone, and we'll only be borrowing them for a little while anyway.
Alright, then let's give it a go tomorrow afternoon.
Alright, this is kind of wild. I have no idea what's in store for me, obviously, but man, if we actually are going to be possessing people like that, that's very interesting. Very interesting. I think it said 8. It might not, but I should have double checked. Okay. But I'm really excited. A lot of people said that this Archon quest is more often than not a banger. Alright, so it was 12. Alright. Yeah, I don't imagine this Archon quest will disappoint. Alright.
Relax.
Oh, we can't control time through here. Alright.
Too slow.
Let us carry on with our Oh, okay, here she is.
Oh, here she comes. Sataria's here.
Let's quietly follow her. Once she starts talking to her acquaintances, we'll find a safe spot to begin possessing them. As for how we'll sway her to our side, I'll leave that to you. I trust you'll know what to say.
Oofts. I don't know about this. I do not know about this one. I hope it's linear and that it'll give
I'm
options
starting to feel kind of nervous.
that don't sway the narrative.
Let's go. Looks like they've already started talking. Let's find a hiding spot and get started.
That's right. You really can't force anything when it comes to love. And besides, everyone around me has a very different background and outlook. Are you still listening to me, Nabia?
Yo, this is wild. Alright, I'm just gonna go on a limb here that the fact that like Nahida can do this, it's pretty alarming. The Akasha terminal. I mean, I believe in the Archon quest for 3.0. I believe that's the Archon quest with Dunyarzad and Nilu. That's, yeah, the Akasha terminal is so dangerous, it seems. Like, of course, Nahida's an Archon here, but you know, this is wild. This is freaking crazy to me. Like, if we're, you know, of course this isn't like real life, but it's just a thought of having this kind of narrative in the Genshin Impact world is pretty crazy. Because what for Mondstadt, it was like the whole storyline there was Dvalin was being manipulated, and Venti was, or Barbados was not present, or I guess not being responsible, or lacked something. There was something there, but I guess his lack of responsibility caused a chain of events, at least in Mondstadt. And then for Liyue, it was Zhongli and ending his contract, or I guess Rex Lapis ending his contract as the god of contracts with Liyue, and his contract to protect them, and so on and so forth. And for Inazuma, it was the Sakoku decree and having Inazuma locked out. I'm really, man, these Archon quests, like, it's been quite some time since I've done one, obviously. The last one being 3.0, but dude, the narrative, like the story of Sumeru, I'm loving it, man. I'm really enjoying this. But I am in the bare bones of it. Like, it's the very, very beginning. But yeah, it kind of showcases a bit of, or I guess a lot of the capabilities of all the Archons, right? But like with Zhongli, he didn't do too much, but he was always there in the background. Because there's still that part of him that wants to protect the land that he cherished and watched over. For Barbados, it was like he just he just went and did his own thing and became someone entirely new. But at the end of the day, it was kind of to bring life to his friend that died in whatever war happened way back when. And for Shogun, it was like her grievances is what made her do what she did. So there's a lot of cause and effect with a lot of these Archon quests. And what I'm noticing is a lot of these Archons have a lot of loss tied to their existence. So Barbados, or Venti, had his friend die. So the real Venti, like, not the Archon Venti, but like the actual physical being that Barbados took the shape and form of. So that person died, and then Barbados / Venti took on that image of that person and began to live as him. And so I guess that's his loss of a friend. For Zhongli, it was his loss of a significant other. And I still believe that it's Ningguang, but that's besides the point. And for Shogun, her loss was her sister, right? So I'm kind of alarmed. There's gonna be loss later down this line. I know it. I'm right a lot of the times about these things. But yeah, let's carry on with the story.
Oh, of course I'm listening. You were talking about troubles with your love life, right? I heard everything you said.
Okay then. You just seemed a little distracted for a moment there. Strange. Your cats seem pretty worked up. Is something wrong?
You know, cats always know what's up, man. Majority of the time. But again, I will say that I do not have any idea of how things will turn
I
out
always
here.
thought they were quiet, happy kitties. Oh, what are their names again?
Oh, no way. Oh, no way. Come on, man. It's been months since I opened this up. Hamru and Tamru, or Haru and Marit? Bro, I'm stumped already. I gotta go with the first option.
Are you sure? Those aren't ringing a bell for some reason.
Well, actually, they have many names. Which names I use
Damn.
depends on my mood.
Damn. I beefed it. I beefed it already. My instinct was saying the second one, but by logic, I went with the first one. Damn.
Huh, I see. I imagine that must be hard for the kitties, too.
I'm freaking beefing it, man. I'm beefing the game already.
So, which fortune do you want me to read for you today? You must have come for another echo of the divine voice of wisdom.
I'd like to get another reading on my love prospects, but to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like I've been a real mess recently.
A mess?
Well, could you do a reading on how long it'll take me to finish my current project at work? I really just want to get it over with.
I like that little detail there of Paimon there, and then she turns to look at Paimon, and then Paimon hides behind the box. I love those little details in the in just quests in general. Just having the background be filled with something. But, yeah.
I hear you. No problem at all. The gods will reveal the truth.
Alright, I'm going with the second one.
Sorry, your new laugh is just so hilarious. I couldn't help it.
Please pay no mind to those kinds of details. The gods are asking, Setaria, why haven't you gone home?
Why haven't I gone home? Do the gods really know everything I've been thinking about?
Setaria, why don't you just go home? It's a demand now instead of a question. The gods seem to be truly upset.
I'm sorry. I know I failed the gods. Please pass on my most sincere apologies and ask for their divine forgiveness. And if I may ask, Nabia, is there a specific god who's speaking to you right now?
inconsiderate and naive question. The god who is speaking to me is, of course, the wisest and mightiest of all, King Deshret.
Well, isn't this interesting? Fascinating.
King Deshret? No wonder he would make such demand of me. Wait a second. King Deshret passed away a long time ago. Even though news of King Deshret's resurrection has been spreading like wildfire, it's all just a misinformation campaign from the academia. How can King Deshret still exist in real life?
Interesting. That is very interesting, actually. So, a misinformation campaign from the academia. So then all the Eremites are like getting all worked up for nothing. I guess it's like a red herring to stir up trouble somewhere else to distract everyone from the real issue. I don't know what the real issue is, obviously, but this is most certainly a red herring to something very important.
What insolence! I am King Deshret's most loyal believer. Do you wish to refute his voice of wisdom?
Oh, no. As a child of the desert, I am only reveling in his power upon learning that his divine glory has touched even this city. I will think very carefully about his demand of me. I'm sorry. I must go now.
Wait!
Whoa! She just ran off in a hurry. She looked pretty upset, too.
Well done. Sitaria didn't seem to suspect anything amiss.
Alright, well, I'm pretty sure I beefed it twice, so I don't know about that one. Unless it was meant to go that way. I guess I wouldn't really know, but let's carry on.
To have something she's been trying desperately to avoid show up out of nowhere and berate her, that must have shaken her to the core.
Aw, Nahida, it seems like you understand human emotions really well after all.
All I know are some abstract Haravatot theories. In any case, my time with you has shown a lot of them to be utterly useless. I'm still trying to make sense of everything. Anyway, enough of that. Let's hurry and catch up to Sitaria.
She's at Akeem's now, right on cue. Let's get ready to possess him right away.
Alright, first of all, let me check out this, Okay. I'll take them 5 primos. Easy sauce. I don't want to claim this though. I don't know, I love cats. So I'm gonna leave this here. Leave 5 primos in the bank, cause 5 primos means I'm bowler. Oops. That was not what I meant to do. But yeah, man, 5 primos is freaking bowler, bro. Alright, let's keep going here. Freaking, you kidding me?
It's okay. I just got caught up in something. Oh, actually, didn't you ask me to help you look for work? What kind of work were you looking for again?
Huh. Okay.
Oh, right. Your old man's craft. How could I forget? Speaking of, how's he doing? Is he feeling any better?
So I think the pattern here is second then first, because what I did was first and second. So I think I should choose first here.
Oh, that's good to hear. I've been thinking a lot about him. If I could get some more time off, I'd love to pay him a visit. Actually, while we're talking about him, is he still living in Port Ormos?
Yeah, he's been retired there for a while.
If you could find the time, please write him a letter. Let him know that recently, faith in King Deshret has taken root in Port Ormos and has begun to spread across Sumeru.
Strange.
He has a quick temper and has always been a devout follower of the Dendro Archon. I don't want him to get into a fight with those King Deshret believers because of a difference in beliefs.
Oh? So, who are you siding with in all of this? The Academia or King Deshret?
Oh, that's such an obvious bait, dude. But I guess our intention is kind of to shake up her psychology. This is actually low key, or actually high key, very messed up. But is this the lesser of two evils? Because I realize that we are, I mean, they said the word borrowing, but we are totally just using other people's identity and their conscious, or I guess their physical body, and taking over their consciousness to manipulate this person and destroy, like, maybe not destroy, but to kind of shake her mentality and mess her up mentally, or at least mess her up enough to question where she stands and her ideals and stuff like that. I guess it's not too dramatic, but I don't like the idea of just taking control over other people. Very unethical. Well, let's carry on.
I'm so jealous of you. You were born a child of the desert, yet you chose to betray King Deshret, and now you spend all your time with those crooks from the Academia.
I don't like that. That is not right at all. Okay, here's my issue with this, right? Here's my issue with this. So, this guy's a stole vendor, and he's got a tone on him right now. I'm aware that it's our main character, the traveler, you know, in control of these people, but realistically, this is someone in the academia, alright? So they are some kind of an organization or government that has influence and governs Sumeru in some sense, right? A guy running a store, a stall. I wanted to say both of them, but whatever. A guy running a stall would not have an attitude like that to someone of influence of some sort, or of importance, or of with authority. This is very unconvincing, but I guess with the story, they're just going to say it's convincing. Oh man.
Akeem, you don't mean you've also become a believer of King Deshret?
This is interesting.
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise King Deshret? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one who still can't pick a side?
Oh, his tone changed so quick, bro. How you gonna... That is so... Oh, man. This is driving me nuts. I think it's mainly because I'm an introvert, and I pay very close attention to people. To their body language, to their tone of voice, to how people express themselves. This is so... Oh, man. This is driving me nuts. This is...
Can't pick a side? Me?
so good
Mhm.
at this?
This is, at least in my eyes, if you're going to take on the persona of someone else, you'd at least kind of keep their attitude and, because he went from like, yeah, my dad is in Port Ormos to like, oh wow, like super sarcastic and like narcissistic almost, like you're this and like why are you like this, like the conversation went so left so quickly. I don't know. It's just, I guess it's just a May thing. Um,
You really zeroed in on the issue and put it right in front of her. It might feel a bit overwhelming for Sataria.
yeah, I reckon it is. I reckon it is overwhelming for Sataria, but it is also very coincidental. You know, first the little girl, I already forgot her name. First her, just it at least makes sense for her to bring up King Deshret, like, with her whole fortune teller gig, I guess. But for Mr. Shopkeep, for Mr. Clerk over there, for him to go off on that, and for him to say very similar things to the little girl, I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, this is just really very particular things. I guess I'm like some kind of psycho because I'm very not really analytical, but I'm very observant with details like this, especially when it involves people, like in a social context. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me. That's just me.
But once everything is over, I'll be sure to pay her a visit to her mind and explain everything. Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay. I guess
Come on! Sataria's already started talking with Shishan!
alright, I guess this is how I'm gonna go about the Archon quest then. If there's a particular piece of dialogue that I feel like talking about, I'm just gonna pause the dialogue and then cut right in the middle of it. Obviously not when the character is speaking, but like after they're done speaking, I'll speak my mind. Yeah, because I've never really done this with the Archon quest and whatever, but yeah.
So, Shishan, have you noticed anything weird in the city lately? Like, as if someone was trying to preach to you about something?
Oh, right. Speaking of strange things, I celebrated the Sub-Zerus festival so many times that I lost count. That was really weird.
Wait, how could you be aware of that? That should be impossible. Nothing in the report indicated anything like that.
Okay, now this is actually a really good, not really a tell, but like, I don't know what the word is. But that's a very interesting thing to call out or to state, I guess. Because from what I can recall, I guess the incident of the repeating Sub-Zerus festival was very, very, very like targeted, I guess. It was targeted to like certain people. Something like that. And from what I can remember, academia, I mean, obviously the academia was responsible, but the academia was kind of farming some kind of, I don't know, they were farming information, or they were farming like energy or something like that. they were siphoning something and taking advantage of something at the expense of other people's time. I remember Dunya Zod getting really sick because everything was repeating in a cycle. And it was like all in a dream state, something like that. But yeah. Now, having this character, Chi Shan, having her talk about it is something very, very good. I wasn't actually expecting that, but you know what? Let's see where this dialogue takes us.
Are you still failing to realize that the Academia's lowly tricks could never deceive all of Sumeru's citizens?
Shishan, don't tell me that you've converted to King Deshret as well.
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed for becoming a believer of King Deshret. In reality, shouldn't you be the one who is ashamed? You, who works side by side with the Academia, and treated people as nothing more than experimental subjects?
I don't like this again. They changed their tone too quickly. There needs to be... Alright. Okay, I guess I am a psycho, because I'm getting really distracted by this. So, in order to kind of be very convincing in this situation, because I guess in this situation, the way our main character is kind of convincing her is through different characters, right? So it's different characters talking to Sataria. I believe her name is Sataria. So it's different characters saying the same thing, or, you know, pretty similar things to Sataria. But the strange thing is, they all change their tone very quickly. I mean, I guess dialogue would be too long, but the way to be convincing about this, like very convincing about this, is to stretch out a conversation even a little bit and kind of build on that point of, I guess, being the follower of Deshret and kind of explaining this character's or this random person's affiliation and how they got into it. But of course, like, having a backstory on the fly is a bit rough, but yeah, being convincing is, at least for me, being convincing is gonna take a lot more than multiple people telling me I'm wrong or whatever. Like, I would need a thorough, very detailed, in-depth explanation of why I'm wrong or why I should, I guess, feel ashamed, right? I guess I'm a lot more critical in that sense, or I'm very, I don't know, it's maybe stubborn would be a better word, something like that, but yeah, this doesn't convince me at all. But that's besides the point.
Please, please stop!
Even now, Sataria's still trying to run from her problems.
Right, another thing from this as well, so it's gonna be very awkward if Sataria bumps into these characters again and they're just gonna say, no, we aren't King Deshret's followers, right? This is just off a tangent here. But this is, that's gonna be a problem of, like, what's that word? Like, consistency. That's definitely not the word I'm thinking of, but it's not gonna be consistent, assuming the Sataria, you know, converses with those characters again. And that's gonna be a dead giveaway that something was wrong. But yeah, okay, so I guess I'm more of a slow burner type of person. I guess I can, Yeah, I guess I'm a psycho, dude. Cause I understand how to manipulate people, but I don't do it, obviously. Cause that's immoral and unethical and wrong. But if I was going to if I was going to do something immoral, unethical, and wrong, very bad, obviously. And that's how I do it. You gotta put on the slow burner, man. You gotta turn the stove on low.
She can no longer justify everything to herself.
Yeah, you gotta put the stove on low heat, man. Let that freaking slow cook for a couple hours at least.
Hey, she's trying to talk to the guards. What should we do?
This is the most important part of all. Quick, get ready.
Ooh, on the fly. Come on,
Mercenary, you're a member of the Corps of 30, correct? Please help me pass a message to the Matcha right away. The situation in the city is getting out of control.
Please, try to remain calm, miss. Tell me what's happening in the city.
Heretics are infiltrating the city, and they've already converted many residents to their side.
Heretics? What kind of heresy are you talking about?
King Deshret! Many people I know have suddenly started believing in him, but he's long dead. It's impossible.
Miss Sataria, nothing is impossible.
You know my name?
King Deshret is immortal, and all who defy him will one day pay the price.
You must face the truth, Sataria. You tread a treacherous path, and the longer you ignore it, the tighter the Academia's grasp on you will become, and the deeper you will be ensnared.
Child of King Deshret,
Never forget that the desert that belongs to you lies elsewhere.
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise King Deshret? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one who still can't pick a side?
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed for becoming a believer of King Deshret.
Sataria, why haven't you gone home?
Yep, this is very unethical. Again, I have issues with this. But if it is the lesser of two evils, then man, it's really hard to justify that. Like breaking someone down mentally. I can't back this. I can't back this. Unless it's gonna all seem like a delusion to her, and it's gonna be like the further on in the narrative, it's gonna be she's gonna encounter the characters again, and they're gonna be like, King Deshret, what about King Deshret? And then it's gonna like flip a switch on her head again, and she's gonna be like, what, you said this about King Deshret or whatever, and then she's gonna think that she's crazy, and that it's like King Deshret that's doing all of this to her. If that's the way the narrative's going, then I'll allow it. But if it's like purely just breaking her down mentally, brick by brick, or I guess no, it's like a sledgehammer, or like driving a truck through a wall, 3 different ones, or I guess 4 different ones. But I don't know. So far, I don't back it. I can't back the beef right now because it is highly unethical.
It seems that no matter where I run, I only keep finding more believers of King Deshret. I have to say, this is a familiar feeling. I've also been running from my guilt this whole time. Guilt over my part in the Sage's plans, and from ignoring the letters from the children of my homeland. But no matter how much I may try to ignore or get rid of it, my guilt always comes back.
you won't necessarily lose your research opportunities by facing the truth. Besides, Did you really want to conduct your research while carrying such heavy feelings of guilt?
How do you know me so well? Are you truly just a believer of King Deshret? Or are you the god himself?
That's not important. The important thing is to pass judgment on the academia and its sages, and to correct their mistakes. If you could provide some assistance in this matter, perhaps it could serve as a form of atonement.
I've actually never believed in the gods, but I've always believed in serendipity. Your appearance must be a fated opportunity for me to get out of this wretched situation. Please tell me, what can I do for you?
How much do you know about the sage's current activities?
I was just one of the designers for the massed dream harvest scheme, which is what happened around the Sub-Zeru's festival. But I know very little about the full scope of the overall project. I'd assume that only staff with the highest clearance would have access to those confidential documents.
Right. So that's what they were getting from the Sub-Zeru's festival. They were harvesting dreams. Right, because Sumerians don't dream, or Sumerians, whatever. Sumerians? What is the what are they called? Because I think either one of them is an actual real civilization and a real term for those people from that civilization. Oh, all right. Anyway. Right, so that's what they did. They were harvesting dreams. Okay, so that's kind of coming back to me now. The context, I guess. All right, let's carry on.
I've just been working to meet the Grand Sage's specified requirements. However, there's something that's been really bothering me. I heard that a scholar who was previously expelled has returned to the city, and even the sages are still quite wary of him.
To fight against the academia, we will need to figure out the nature and the purpose of their work. Is there a way for us to get access to the confidential documents you mentioned?
It should be possible if we're willing to take some risks. After all, I'm an assistant to the Grand Sage, and I've been working on many tasks outside of the project. One thing, though, I won't be able to transfer the documents to you through the Akasha once I get my hands on them. The sages have always closely monitored all activities within the Akasha. Let me see. Let's use the most primitive method. Send someone to pick up the documents tomorrow evening at the Academia entrance.
The Academia entrance. Wouldn't that be too conspicuous?
Don't worry about that. I assure you, this won't be a trap. I'm only suggesting this location because it'll draw more scrutiny for me to leave the Academia again. It'll be safest for me to distract the guards long enough to hand you the documents.
All right, I trust you.
So, if I were to successfully complete this task, would it mean I've atoned for my wrongdoings?
That'll depend on the judgment of the Dendro Archon.
The Dendro Archon. That's right. Her people are the ones we have endangered. As the god of wisdom, she's also the one responsible for judging and guiding the scholars. Maybe it's time for me to find a god to believe in.
Just as Nahida predicted, we've managed to bring Sataria to our side!
The Traveler's execution was ingenious. He's the one who deserves all the praise.
I just forgot my mic was muted for a second, but this is I like where this is going. I truly do, but I'm just not convinced. But okay, that's just what do you call it? One point that I am raising. That's just the one thing that I wouldn't be convinced that things are going well this quickly, this easily. Because there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, right? In order to get this outcome. So it was 3 pieces. At the very least, 3 pieces, or 4 pieces, I guess. So it was the guard, the tavern hostess, the shopkeeper, and the fortune teller. I'm not gonna say their names because I don't remember them, unfortunately. But on the off chance that this character, Sataria, meets up with these other of those 3 characters again, it's gonna look pretty odd because they're gonna say that they didn't talk to her, and she's gonna say that they were talking about King Desheret. I guess that's one flaw in like the plan, because there's that's gonna be like an inconsistency. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, because yeah, no. I guess, oh man, I guess I really am a psycho, because if I was going to try and manipulate someone, I would go for the lengths, like, I would go so far to convince them otherwise. Because from each 3 of those conversations with the tavern hostess, the shopkeeper, or stole vendor, whatever, and the fortune teller, those conversations were very short and, in my opinion, not long enough to leave a lasting impact on someone. But I guess for Sataria, her headspace would be, like she said, she had guilt, and that was probably what was slow cooking. As I was, saying earlier, something needs to be slow cooked. It was probably her guilt, and that's what we took advantage of, was her guilt and her origins, or I guess that's tied with her guilt, but her affiliation with the opposition of where she's from, and that kind of also ties in with her guilt, right? So I mean, as unethical as this is, I guess this was the easiest way to go about it. Like, it's just, possessing these other people just that one time, and not having to go through this long process of convincing someone brick by brick, like tearing down a wall brick by brick and then building this new wall brick by brick. Because that's very much so the mentality I have, or I guess mentality I would have if I were to unethically, immorally do something like this. Because it's just easier that way. It's less stressful. Just going very slowly, just one brick at a time. You can relax, you can chill out. You don't have to drive 4 trucks into this brick wall. You don't need any of them demolition teams, whatever. But that's just me. And I do sound like a psycho, I get it.
Well, now that we've made plans to meet again tomorrow evening, all we can do is pray for Sataria's mission to go off without a hitch.
Pray? But if we're going to pray to the gods, aren't we just praying to you? God of wisdom and guardian of the scholars?
No. The truth is the true guardian of scholars. I've always believed that. Anyway, let's meet again tomorrow evening at the Adventurers Guild.
Okay. Alright. Let's carry on with this quest. So, Adventurers Guild 19. Alright, let's go. Bang. Let's go. Let's go. Alright, it's getting pretty late for me. It's nearly 2 a.m. I'm recording this at. So, I'm probably gonna cut the recording sometime soon. Just to let you know. I mean, I guess you would already know. You'd see the timestamp. Or not timestamp, but the video
There is
duration.
pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever.
You know what? I might just end it here. Because this is actually the first time that Catherine has been back in the Adventurers Guild, whatever that is, that little, that thing there. I guess the, reception, the Adventurers Guild reception. It's been months. It's been months since she's been there, so, yeah, I think I'll leave this episode here. I apologize that, you know, this was a very, very, very long way to go about dialogue. Obviously, I'm definitely gonna make part 2s, part 3s, part 4s, part 5s. You know, the whole lot. I'm gonna be playing through this very consistently, and I do want to potentially finish Archon quests, like all of them. I want to finish whatever I missed out on up until 3.3. I want to finish everything up till then. I'm just gonna keep moving around so he doesn't speak over me, but I do want to keep going, and hopefully I don't imagine myself uploading it before 3.4 realistically, but if I'm going to have to crank it out before 3.4, I have no issues with uploading a Genshin video every day. But I will have a lot to edit. There's still a lot of videos I've yet to edit, which is fine, obviously, but yeah, I would like to apologize.
You think I've got a sharp tongue?
God dang it, I forgot to...
I just tell it like it is.
God dang it, I
If
forgot
someone
to
can't
move
handle
him.
it, maybe that's their problem.
Shut your ass up. Shut your damn ass up. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna carry on with this Archon quest, because I've still got a lot to go through in this game. Like, oh, look at all these quests, man. All these story quests, not done. All these hangout events, not done. Well, I guess half of them not done. Six, but all these are like longer, right? Which one? One of them was longer. Some of them were longer, yeah. But it don't matter. Yeah, there's still a lot for me to do in this game. And yeah, well, like I said, I'm gonna leave the episode here. And yeah, I've got a lot to go through. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, because I do love going through the Archon quests. I do love lore in this game. I wouldn't say I'm a lore heavy person. I do enjoy the storyline. I do enjoy the lore, as I've said countless times. But yeah, I definitely will make videos on this, more videos on this. And yeah, this is definitely a first for me, as you could maybe probably tell. But I guess I did do my daily uploads last year in April. If you've seen that, maybe you haven't. That was when the Chasm was coming out. But that's the Chasm. That's something else. And it's not as deep as this, obviously. And as I've said, there's quite a lot to this. Quite a lot. The dialogue could have... I reckon it should have only taken maybe 15-20 minutes, but here we are. It's an hour deep, and or an hour long, rather. And we're not even that deep in the story. We're still in the shallow waters of the Archon quest. That's a good one. I'll probably use that again in the future. Don't steal that, by the way. That saying, shallow waters of whatever. That's You know what, free speech, whatever. I'm just joking. Yeah, anyway, I love you all. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Might be Minecraft Dungeons, might be Dying Light, it might be Genshin Impact, might be Brawlhalla. You never know. You never know. Anyway, I love you all. Take care and goodbye.